Prosecutors believe Crystal Rogers was killed at the Houck family farm, but defense attorneys are trying to convince a jury there's no evidence she was even killed.
WDRB's Hayden Restevsky and Lindsay Allen join us now to break down today's developments in that trial for Brooks Houck and Joseph Lawson. Guys?
Yeah, Scott and Fallon, the prosecution and defense, laying out their versions of the story before the jury today. Starting with the prosecution, they argue that Crystal Rogers was killed as part of a Houck family conspiracy. So in opening statements this morning, the prosecution said that Brooks Houck's mother, Rosemary, asked a worker at Brooks Houck's job site if he could find someone to get rid of Crystal. They argued Brooks Houck told Crystal they were going to be going out the night of July 3rd for a kid-friendly romantic evening. Two witnesses would testify to that today, saying that Crystal was excited about that surprise date. They argued that they went to the Houck family farm that evening around 7, and that's where she was killed, and that her cell phone was turned off at 9:27 p.m. that night. The prosecution showed the jury the initial police interview with Brooks Houck from July 5th. The detective, John Snow, said it was odd. He found it that Brooks Houck did not report her missing when he says he woke up and she wasn't there. They saw surveillance video of Brooks Houck's truck going to and leaving the Houck family farm the night of July 3rd. The first witness to testify was Crystal Rogers' daughter, Kaylee. She's now 23. She told the jury that Brooks told her her mom was with her cousin Sabrina when she asked where her mom was when she saw him on July 4th, and that Brooks would not respond to her text messages after her mom had disappeared. Now, for every point that the prosecution made, Hayden, the defense had a counterpoint.
That's right, Lindsay. The defense attorneys representing Brooks Houck really were trying to paint police as desperate to close such a high-profile case. They said that law enforcement saw Brooks Houck as the answer to a mystery that they could not figure out. They said that the case is dangerous for our system of justice and that facts were being replaced with suspicions, assumption, guesses, and theories, even going as far as saying that police relied on manipulation, coercion, and bullying witnesses to arrest Brooks Houck in this case. Interestingly enough, during the opening statements from the defense, they showed photos and videos of searches of the various Houck family properties over the years, and they were pointing out that through 10 years of in-depth investigation from state, federal, and local authorities, no evidence has ever been found. And I've been at many of those searches, Lindsay, and we have always wondered, was anything found? They tossed around this term, items of interest, but they never would say what it was. So we've been wondering for years, would that information come out at this trial? But defense attorneys say no evidence was ever found. And that's really what they're hinging this case on, trying to convince the jury that since there is no evidence that Crystal Rogers was killed, that they haven't recovered her body, that there is no murder weapon and no eyewitnesses that ever saw her harmed, that's what they're really trying to get the jurors to buy into.
Next up tomorrow, prosecutors want to show the jury, they say, a 90-minute video. We can assume that is another one of the initial police interrogations with Brooks Houck that was conducted in just days after Crystal Rogers went missing. Things pick back up tomorrow morning at 8:30. Reporting live in Bowling Green with Hayden Restevsky, I'm Lindsay Allen, WDRB News.
Interesting to say that no evidence ever came from all of those searches there in Bardstown, and a lot of information for the jury to take in with these first witnesses to take the stand there in Bowling Green. All right, ladies, thank you so much for your reporting this evening.